We all, yeah, we always start the meditation with a prayer so that each one of us gets attuned. And you can use your own prayer. You can use Vaheguru, you can use Allah Akbar, you can use Om Namah Shiva, you can use Amin, you can use Our Father in Heaven. Whichever. Prayer means reaching out to God, maybe outside, maybe inside yourself, wherever you have placed your God. Maybe outside, maybe inside, maybe everywhere. Wherever you feel, you call out to God. That's what a prayer is. And I'm going to be today telling you true history about how a healer became a healer. It's a historical fact. In fact, I am going to be telling you two stories, okay? Because I really want that this path of us growing and going and evolving towards God should never be boring. It should be a fun. It is an adventure. It's better than Netflix, maybe. Maybe not, but maybe it is fun. So the story starts in 1605, and the picture behind me is not that gentleman, but similar. It starts off in Russia. So in the 1645, 48, I'm not really exact with dates, Tsar, the king, Alexis is in power, and he's very holy. He's very religious. And in 1605, the future patriarch, the big counselor, the most powerful church figure in Russia is called patriarch, was born in 1605, and he was from a poor family. He ultimately called himself Nikon. I don't care about the small details. So, because he renamed himself Nikon later. Anyway, he was born in a poor family. He had a stepmother, didn't really get well. And then he had 3 children, he had a marriage, and the 3 children died, and he thought it's a sign that he should be. And he asked his wife also to go to a monastery. But he was a very passionate speaker. So in spite of not having, he educated himself, and he was poor, but he got educations in monasteries. Those were the one places. He was a very passionate speaker. So when in Moscow, the young king, who was just around 18, 19, was really impressed by his fiery oratorship and asked him to be the head. And he said, only if you will accept me as the shepherd. Very confident. And the 19-year-old Tsar, the prince, accepted him. So Nikon became very, very powerful. The Tsar trusted him. In fact, so much that for 6 years the Tsar left him as the ruling regent. The Tsar went off to Poland to fight, and he left the spiritual head of Russia to rule. And Nikon was very, very strict. He became very egoistical also. He had a table built exactly like on the same level as the Tsars. And if anyone was late, he would make them stand outside in Moscow in that cold. And he also started to conduct reforms. He thought that the Greek Bibles were better, the Greek traditions, etc., were more purer, and in the Russian translations, the translations weren't well done, mistakes had crept up. So he wanted to reform a lot of reforms. So every place is always against reforms. So one of the reforms was that he wanted no. The old way was to go with two fingers of crossing, and the two fingers are the dual nature of Christ. And he went with three fingers, the Trinity. And this became a very important factor. That this is one of the differentiating factors, and this actually led to what is known as the Great Schism, which means old believers versus the new believers. So Christianity itself is getting divided, and the person leading it is the patriarch Nikon. And he has got a friend, Avakon. Avakon really supports his friend. Yes, the church needs to be corrected, and there are these practices. But when it comes to a point when Avakon sees that there is a actual schism in the society, in the church, he starts to lead the old believers, as they call it. And the old believers are not supported by the Tsar so much. But Nikon, who wants the changes, is very egoistical, and he is very, very high, and he makes a lot of people very angry, and he doesn't really concert with it. He starts to, because the Tsar had trusted him with being the emperor. So he starts to treat people like nothing. He doesn't really discuss with them. He just wants whatever he wants is right. And he has seen these corrections. He is a scholar, so he has written, and he's very confident. But he makes a lot of people very angry. And he doesn't really care at that time, and he starts to push the government towards that the spiritual head is the main head and the king is subservient. And that, of course, is not really liked by the Tsar, who gave him the power. Who gave him the power? The Tsar gave him the power. Alexei gave him the power. And Alexei is really angry at this turn of events, that his patriarch that he had nominated is being so egoistical and is not really political. He wants these changes. No one is really wants these new changes. So Alexei sort of starts to stops sponsoring him, doesn't show up for a couple of meetings and all that, and the patriarch feels angry, and he leaves Moscow and goes to another monastery which he had set up. He was a great builder, so he built a lot of good and strong monasteries which are still over there, churches, including the one in Kremlin. And the Tsar now, the Nikon thought that, oh, I have left myself, I'm so valuable, the Tsar needs me, he will call me back. And the Tsar says, good riddance. He doesn't call him back. And for 8 years, there is no one who is called the patriarch, because he says, I'm not really. The Tsar says, you have left your important post, and that is against the church, and that's against me. And he says, no, I've just left this place. I have not resigned of my duties. I'm still only. I'll select the next in command and all that. So they have all these for 8 years. There is no one who is a patriarch, because he is still in the monastery. The Tsar doesn't call him back. So Nikon's powers goes down rapidly, because the Tsar is not really angry with him, and the Tsar sends him away to a different place. Now, when in exile, Nikon puts plates of metal on his body, lives very, very frugally, doesn't take care of his body at all, locks up himself into one room in the monastery very far away, somewhere near Novgorod. And only one person can climb up, and he lives there in this dark room and just prays and prays and prays. Now he is disregarded by the Tsar. The Tsar has already moved on to the next stage, his next favorite. And Tsar has got other things in happening, like the old believers are now led by Avakung, and they're not happy with the changes that have, because even though he was released, the changes which are being propagated by Nikon have been implemented. So there is a fight over 3 fingers and 2 fingers and all this, the new rituals and the old rituals. But he himself is still over out there. And now that he is far away, he is alone. Now only people start to visit him and he gets healing powers. So at this time, 152 cases were there of people being healed by the monk. Now he is just a monk, by the monk, we call it. And he falls ill, and the Tsar is now, he's more at peace. He does admire this person. And moreover, he's become holy. So people are being healed by him now. And 152 is the one which was registered by the government. So these are official cases. The historians don't tell lies. These are not, these are official historians recording things. It's not like the YouTube where you put up whatever. And the church is very careful with miracles and healings, just so that you know. Because healings, etc., set up a person on a path of canonization, etc. The church is very, very careful with any system. But 152 cases were registered. So he is recognized, and the more his fame spreads, the more people come to him. So when you want to become a healer, I can teach you energy. We can initiate you in energy. All you have to do is focus over out here in the center of the forehead. Draw any symbol of God, cross, Om, the spiral of infinity, or any symbol of God that you consider to be holy. You focus, your intellect focuses on that symbol, and your intellect let it dissolve. When your intellect is dissolved, then it doesn't have any I, me, mine. All thoughts are going to vanish, just like in a dark room. You light up a lamp. And when that lamp is lighted up, when your head doesn't have any heavy thoughts, then your heart opens up, and your heart is automatically connected to everything and everyone. So there is a flow of energy, and you just use your imagination to direct it to the palms of your hand, and you practice it with this. And you can even lay it down on other people. You can lay it down your heart. That's basically what energy is about. The more you practice, the better it is. If you have someone to practice with it, the more the other person trusts you, the more it flows. And the more it flows, you see yourself as more of an energy and not as a person. That's the simple thing. So energy can be taught. And energy will have a slight, it will have a cycle of up and down. Person will feel good, person will feel bad, depending upon how it is, how deep the energy level is going. But when you pray, and your life has been through so many ups and downs, having children that he lost, then becoming the most important person in the kingdom, becoming de facto the Tsar, and then having fights for the changes that he passionately believed in. He wasn't doing it because he felt it was. He saw that in the translations and he felt that of Latin to Russian there are mistakes, and in the rituals, etc. And he wanted to simplify things, etc. And he really felt the 3 versus 2 finger, etc. So he was passionate, and then he lost it all. He made a bad gamble. He thought that he's so important that the Tsar will have to. He went to the monastery. He left his patriarch. He left Moscow thinking that within a few weeks, the Tsar will say, "Oh, Nikun is not here. I have to call him back." Moreover, as he is the patriarch, and the Tsar said, "Good riddance." The Tsar did not call him back ever. Only towards the end of his life, the Tsar gave him a pardon. But during that last phase of him intensively praying, that's when his healing powers were uncovered by the grace of God. And there is no reason that any of you can think that, oh, my life is easy. If I meet any one of you and I'll say, oh my God, you have an easy life. Like you're in North America, you have all this, your dollar is so important and so good compared to, let's say, from India or something like that. You have You have internet, you have computers, you have access to everything, so many things, you have information and clarity and all these things you are having. You are living the dream. When I was born in India and I met someone from America, I felt I would, if the other person would say, you know what, if you just cut off your left arm or leg and that will give you an American or Canadian passport. Even now, if someone will declare like this, that uh, someone needs to a kidney or and in exchange for a kidney, you'll get a passport, a PR. There'll be millions in the line. I'm not talking hundred thousands. So we are here in a very comfortable place, but for misery we can create in our mind because we can compare it with our lives with anything. But people are very stressed. So it's a very complex life. And each complexity has given us and made us closer to a stage where we can pray. And when we pray, God is inside us. Didn't I say that? God is here, there, everywhere. So why not inside you? And when you call someone by name, they wake up. And someone has to wake you up in the morning. They say, hey, and your name is said and you get wake up. So the same way, the grace of God can be unlocked inside just by praying, but not like a parrot, but by feeling the energy of the prayer inside you. One of the techniques. So a lot of people pray, but out of a sense of hopelessness, and as a if I pray this, then give me that and that, etc. And you pray using the energy of the prayer to serve others. So let the prayer open your heart, and then that prayer energy in your thoughts you give to others. And that's how you become a healer. Sooner or later, that grace will be unlocked in you and you will become a healer, if that's what you want to be doing. But healers haven't had an easy life. Easy life, money, happiness, these are two or three things which are absolutely different. Yeah, I know we have all these people who seem to be like, knowing gurus and all, and they seem to be making billions and billions, and they seem to be having a comfortable life. And that's what it seems to be. I do not really think. Yes, if you are a guru, then whatever is happening in your life, you're cool with it. Because you're so spiritual. Spirituality is like the roots of the tree. They are not seen, but that spirituality is what is holding the people up. Most of the time when I go to the gym for swimming or something, I see people really working hard and they're taking care of the body, because that's all that they feel. And the thing is, you can take care of your body, that's okay. Your spirit is being neglected. So that people are looking physically good and spiritually so weak that anything small will make them angry. Even living in the most comfortable of all places, which is not America. People will get angry, people will get irritated, people will lose their temper, people will lose faith as if they ever had faith. If you have faith, you don't really lose it, not over small things. That's the crazy part of it. In India, people have nothing to be feeling comfortable about, and people are, oh, Lord, 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 Ram, Ram, Ram. Now there's so much amount of abundance, and people go, I really don't believe in God. I'm actually a theist. Okay. Basically, it means that I don't really have any moral stance on anything. I can do whatever my heart wants or whatever I feel like doing, drinking, eating. That's it all ends up that I'm an atheist, so I am free to do anything. It's like giving to yourself, okay. And if you're children, you can play with that. But when you are spiritual, then the key is that you take care of your root, which is your spiritual side. And your spiritual strength is there by praying for others especially for the people who hurt you. Now I'm coming to the second story. So I told you that when Nikon started the discussion for the changes, initially he was supported by another priest, Avakum. Now, Avakum initially was really great friends with Nikon, the patriarch, but then he saw the schism, and Avakum became the leaders of the old believers, and they were really fanatical. They thought that our ancient Russian way of praying is the most one, and not this foreigner is still used as a like something like a. It's like in India, if you would say, "Oh, this thing is from foreign," means that it's better made. Out there in Russia, it was, "Oh, this is foreign, we can't trust it," and they were not open to the foreign influence, the Greek and the Roman Catholic. They didn't. So that's why Russian Orthodoxy is very, very conservative. And the 3-2 finger versus 2 finger cross was really important for them. So Avakom became the leader, and the old believers, they were so fanatical. At times, villages of old believers would lock themselves in wooden churches and willingly burn the church. And it so happened that Avakum was also one of them who propagated this, that don't be afraid of the fire and all that. He used to say that. It's a cleanser, it's this and that. He was also like, he was not judging. He was, yes, you guys are martyrs, sort of. Now, Avakum also was respected in Moscow. Remember, these are very passionate people who believe in what they are fighting for. So Nikon was fighting for that Christianity in Russia needs a change. And Avakum, etc., were no, we have to go with our old ways. So they were willing to die for crossing 2 fingers versus 3 fingers. It comes down to that. Now, Avakum is regarded still. There are factions in Moscow who support him also. And the Tsar also reaches out from time to time to Avakum. But at one point, 8-9 years of this schism are happening. Avakum sends a letter to Tsar Alexei, who is sponsoring new, who is okay with the new changes. Like Nikon was taken out of the picture, but the changes which he had proposed are going through. So there is a new believer, there is an old. It's called Raskol or schism, breakup. And Avakum sends a letter to the Tsar. Sir, dear Tsar or king, I saw a dream, a very vivid dream. So it is real, because I am a holy man. In the dream, I saw your father in hell, because you are changing Christianity. You are making changes in the Russian Christianity, your father is being punished. Alexis was so mad. He was like Tsar means despotic, dictatorship. The Tsar said, okay, since you had that dream, you are going to burn. So Avakum was caught, and the people were invited where he would be burned. Now this is around 1664. So he is brought to the place publicly to be burnt. Avakum comes up, very happy, very happy. Stands near the fire and says, till that time I was afraid, But now I have decided to embrace the fire, and I do not have any fear of this death. I don't care for this body anymore. And he died singing. I don't think that in history there have been any instances of people, because no matter how much brave you are, when even the fumes get you, they knock you unconscious. It's sheer terror. He died singing. And this is recorded from the SARS historians. So this is court history plus church history. So you want to be a healer and great healer. Life in North America is complicated. So you already have the prerogative. If I would ask you, oh my God, you have such an easy life, you will start, no, my husband is like this, my wife is like this, my children, my job is like this, whatever it is. And because we are so living in really comfortable zones, anything small makes us tick or lose our balance. Husband left us, so instead of seeing that as freedom, we get angry. Manager let us go, so instead of having I have been freed from that job where I was really suffering, and now there are more opportunities. Somehow the mind draws that whatever the changes are always happening in North America, and we think, oh, this change is now for the back. No, the ultimate change is that, and if we can embrace that with singing, learn from these ultimately great people, historical people, whether they were right or wrong doesn't make a difference. They were passionate about what they believed in. They lived and died for what they believed in. So ask for that blessing. Live and die. The death of the body is nothing. Theoretically, doesn't mean that you jump in front of a bus, or just doesn't mean that you make the process fast or slow. You just focus on your spiritual root and be strong, so that even death does not make your passion for giving to others less. Ultimately, all our meditations are to cultivate a passion to give. That's all. If you are meditating or not meditating, but you are giving to the universe, you are self-realized, you are enlightened. If you have doing all the meditations, have all the knowledge, you have everything that you want, but your heart is totally in a mode, I want more attention, because when I was small, I didn't get enough love from my parents or from my husband or from my wife or this. I want more attention, I want more respect, I want more sex, I want more money, whatever it is. Those are the 3, 4 things that everyone is asking at the end of the day. So you have to come to a point of self-realization, starting off with prayers. You give, give, give. You start with giving these free prayers. And then whatever you're doing, you're making food for the child or for the husband or for wife, whoever, whatever you're doing, you do it underneath whatever you're doing it with. Amen, Om Namah Shivaya. Always giving, giving, giving. So that you're not a consumer looking for what? Sex, money, respect. That's all. We are on this grandiose planet in these really exciting times, and we have the ability to tune in as a group right now and become a conductor, a spreader of this energy of love, light, and laughter. And as I say, Om, each one of you, we are all connected at a level of heart. You will feel a flow of energy flowing from the top as grace of God, because this talk was a meditation, and meditation means opening yourself to the grace of the Lord so that you become grace. And let this, when I say Om, you'll feel this grace flowing from the crown of the head. Namo going to your heart, so that your heart, this energy drizzling from above, is opening your heart. Because In your head, there is no interference, no heavy thought, oh, I was this, I want that, etc. That all is gone. Now opening your heart, spreading love, light, and laughter, and dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. Om Namo Shiva. The same three path, triangular, receiving grace from the crowd, opening your heart, making your heart a church, a gurudwara, a temple, a mosque, whatever, whatever you feel more comfortable. And the third stage, opening the doors of that temple and spreading love, light, and laughter with gratitude to be a participant in the scheme. Om Namo Shiva. Vaheguru. Om Mani Padme Hum. त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकम् मृत्योर्मुक्षेमामृतात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे शान्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखं भवेत् Отче связи небесата, прославится имя Твое, да пребудет царство Твое, да исполнится воля Твоя, на небе и на земле. Дай нам хлеб сущий и прости нам наши долги, якорь мы прощаем должникам нашим. Веди нас от искушения и избавь от лукавого. Аминь. Amen. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on heaven as on earth. On this day, give us our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us from temptation. Deliver us from evil. Thine is the power, the glory, the kingdom. Amen. Om Namah Shivaya. Smile with your heart and keep on sharing the smile from your heart with all the people who have hurt you, or with anyone who has played any part in your life and you have had any conflicts with. See them receiving the smile, the energy, the prayer from your heart, And visualize that from today, your relationships will be under your control. No one can shake you from your smiling heart. No loss of any kind, no words of any kind. You are deeply rooted in your spiritual energy of who you are, which is a spreader of love, light, and laughter. In contrast to the whole world, which is consumer looking for sex, money, happiness in some way, you are a giver of happiness to others because that is the only true happiness or joy. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Bless yourself. See yourself from today, smiling with your beautiful open heart, sympathizing and empathizing with everything and everyone on the planet, but strongly rooted in your spirituality. Not needing anything from the world, life, or the universe to become happy because you are already joyous. Your joy is one of giving joy to others, as prayers right now. Om Namah Shivaya. Bless yourself. See yourself from tomorrow, laughing, smiling, and giving, fulfilling your obligations to the world, to God, to universe, to everyone in your life, and to yourself. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Good. We have a meeting tomorrow at 7. If you have any questions, you can ask. If not, we'll meet then tomorrow.
I will